So somewhere I had hit stop instead of pause in the previous one, so I'm going to keep going here and hopefully the two videos sort of mash together. One thing I noticed is when I ran our tests with no capture, we get some of these, we get some exceptions, and we're getting the exceptions in thread pool, and we haven't dealt with the thread pool yet. So I want to actually null out the calls to pool here, where instead of executing this into a pool, we're going to just run this directly in on our stack. And we're still getting some error message, or we're still blocking there, but I'm now not panicking, or am I? We are still panicking. Panicked in there because we're calling worker new. Create a new worker. What calls new? Call new on here to add that. Oh, I don't want to fix this right now. So we're spawning this. We're locking. It's this last unwrap. And I think it's because our receivers, and this is not the way to do that. You don't have these all own their own version of it. So this isn't going to work to begin with. Gosh, I want to take this out completely. So unfortunately, let's fix this, and the only way I'm going to fix this is take it out for now. Because we're not, like this receiver, I don't think is right. It's not the right way to handle a work queue. This is only going to have one job, and I think that's what's happening. Is the job is failing because there is no more receivers to, or no more senders to send jobs to. Okay, how do I take that out? Let's make pool be an option, and I set pool to be none, and that's okay. Let's see if we're building. Okay, so test index. Panicked at thread pool here. We're creating a worker. Where are we creating workers? I thought that I just didn't create a thread pool. Here we go. Let's not create a pool here. And okay, we're at least not erroring out on that. So let's see now where we're at in our parsing of that request. So read and parse request. Line, done getting line. Oh, wait, it returns bad. Parse request, add body. Read to end. It's the read to end. It reads all bytes appended to this continue to call read because I think the connection doesn't actually close. The other read to end was we did have a content length here. So, okay, so we're gonna have a request and a length. Length is going to be a use size. So our content length here. Oh, we're only doing that for posts. Let me look at the old version of our server here to see how we were doing that. Parse request. Content length here. I may have committed already. I didn't push. So let's go to, okay, this is what it did. It's only for posts that we read the body because that makes sense because there only is a body in the post. So, we're going to change that. And actually, I think this is not going to work because read to end, it really needs read exact, and we're not actually handling posts. We haven't tested that. We're going to fix this by actually throwing in assert. That yet. Okay, so we're just going to panic here because I don't want to deal with that. Unmatched type, so we're going to return this. And actually, we will need to. Let me do this here. So the return type of this is going to be content length like that, and we're not going to actually read it. We don't need this to be mutable anymore. Okay, now we're good. Let's go ahead and run this in next test, and we're going to take out our print statements as we go, because this will probably work now. It's supposed to work. Hopefully it's not working because of our, we got to take this stuff out. Okay, so we are now working. Let's clean up this. So actually, let's talk about what was done. So I changed this statement here, which I couldn't figure out what this is doing. Like you have like this while it's not while it's empty. In the case where you're going to have something that doesn't have a valid header, this is going to fail immediately. And this line's last insert sort of thing is weird to me. I don't know what this is doing, to be honest. It looks like it's making sure that there's at least something in the header and continue to read until that. I don't know what that is. This, I think, is better. We're going to keep reading lines until, so here we read a line, and here is our sort of end statement. If it's empty, and I think it's always going to be this empty sort of thing. I think the line reading is going to, eat these statements. Could actually check that. So let's just delete that to see if our test still passes, which it doesn't. So I think it's because of that. I think this is our actual break statement. Oh, now it fails. Oh, because address is already in use because we're running it twice. Where are we running this? So that this is where it will be useful to be able to test this without all the extra noise. But putting that back is not going to fix this. But I think this is correct. However, we get this address already in use. Oh man, this is not the problem that we're trying to fix. This is a problem with the way we're binding to addresses. I guess we're going to fix that next. But let's just go through this. So now we're going to read and parse request. Read and parse request. Here the lines that we're accumulating. Here's where we're going to loop over all the lines and do something with that. We're still failing here. Let's break out of that. This is actually not great. Like I had to put this back in because it's failing in this case, because I think read line actually includes the new line statement at the end. What I probably want to do is this. Next line dot trim. So we're just going to strip. It's not really the right thing. We're gonna leave this in. This is the writer way to do it, but this is still wrong. So this is where we're accumulating all the lines, and then we parse the request, and the parse request is just parsing the lines that are given to it, and returning this sort of request along with a size that's the content length, but we're not doing that right because we're not dealing with posts. So we just say it's going to be 0. That logic here is not right, but it's right in the case that we're dealing with our gets. And the only thing I want to do is we're going to leave that one in here. This is our old code. And I want to change this a little bit to I'm going to do it this way. Let lines equal this is a little bit of a rusty way to write this call. And now we failed. Why did we fail? And success failed. Oh, because let lines equal like this. Loop and one more. There we go. You're not likely going to see this. But I really like this sort of pattern because this block makes this essentially like a function, and inside here we have a mutable version of lines. Outside of here we don't. We have an immutable version of lines because we only need an immutable version of lines out here, and it also blocks the operation of reading the lines. And you might need to look at this to try to accept the benefit of this sort of thing here. The main thing I like is this blocking thing, to say we need to get lines and this is how to get lines, and the only thing we're keeping around from this is whatever this block is returning, which is the vec. So if we needed any sort of intermediary sorts of things, like for example, we could do this. This would actually clean this up a little bit. So we can put next line here, and we can clear this. And now, borrow move value. Sorry, what is clear? Oh, because we're pushing this. That clone. Sort of. I don't know that we saved anything here, but we're able to sort of keep around the string for a little bit longer. Don't worry about that. That got into that got into some little extra stuff there. Actually, figure out what I did here to see if you like this or not. I'm not sure that I like it. Actually, I don't. I want to put this back, and we don't need to clone. Cool. Okay, so like I said, this now breaks this into the read statement and the parse statement. Okay, enough of me talking and talking that to death. We just need to move on. I think the next thing to do is to say, okay, can we test this? That's going to be, I think, important to do, because this is going to be the real workhorse of our application that we need to both test and, quite honestly, maybe benchmark. So that's where we need to go in this adventure.